Hello YouTube, BlueSize17 here, but you can just call me Travis, and welcome back for another collection update. It's been a really long time since I've done one of these, maybe like a month or so since I've done one, maybe even longer, I'm not totally sure. So I've got like way too much stuff to show, so forgive me if I'm a little brief on some stuff, and yeah, I'm just gonna kind of blow through it, that way I can kind of just play catch up, and we'll all feel good about it. So let's just move into the music. I don't even know what order the stuff's in, so who cares? We'll pick it up as we go. All right, first up, this came out a couple weeks ago. This is the new album by the Japanese progressive black metal band, we'll call them, Sigh. Album called Heir to Despair. If you're not familiar with these guys, they're they've been around for quite a while, early 90s even. Was a band that was released on Euronymous' Death Like Silence label even, and yeah, this is they've grown progressive and more weird over the years. By the way, we're still listening to the awesome mixtape made for me by Mr. Cloudy Mlada, which actually is actually a little loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Alright, sorry about that. Thought maybe you'd want me to hear me talk. Anyway, yeah, like I said, they're just over time they've just gotten more progressive. You know, more stuff thrown into the pot, kind of trying to do new things. I would say pretty much everything after Imaginary Soundscape, I would say is not as good for me, generally speaking, in terms of size, collective discography. I really did actually like their last one. They released previous to this, Grave Word, I believe is what it was called. I really liked that one a lot. It was one of my more favorite, probably my favorite since Imaginary Soundscape. So I was kind of hoping they would maybe continue on in that direction. But this one is more sort of in the Scenes from Hell, Insomnophobia, that sort of, if you like those albums, this one's definitely more so in that vein. You know, he's doing all sorts of stuff. Obviously, he's maybe Jethro Tull influence, lots of like flutes and stuff. Some like weird electronic stuff. At one point, he kind of talks like Robert Bear from Thundercats, which I thought was fun. So yeah, just interesting stuff. Saxophone player in the band. If you want to check out something that's just totally weird and offbeat, definitely check out Sigh. You might be into them. Yeah, Heir to Despair. Alright, next up, this is another release from this year, as actually I think a lot of these are. This actually album is awesome. This is the new one from Spanish new wave of traditional heavy metal band Hitten. This is their album Twist of Fate. This is their third album. They have a new singer who I love. Hits the nice high-pitched falsetto notes perfectly. Really like that. Comes on this slipcase cover. This is their third album. I thought their last album, which I believe is called State of Shock, was good, but kind of a lesser compared to their debut. And this one steps back up quite a bit. I like this album a lot. First discovered it when Anderson of New Wave of traditional heavy metal full albums was doing a Gimme Radio show. One of the songs from this album popped up on there, and I was like, damn, I didn't even know Hitten had released a new album, and this is sounding awesome. So, was able to eventually find a, actually Hell's Headbangers of all places, found a stateside label that was carrying it, was kind of feeling like I didn't want to pay to have it shipped, even though I usually do kind of order from High Roller if I can, but anyway, great release, definitely one of my more favorite new wave of traditional metal full album releases from the year, probably in the top 10, I would say, probably at this point. I enjoyed kind of the, they added sort of like a hair, a glammy aspect to their sound that I actually really liked. So both Rob Blackstar Vinyl and Scott Rock Scout, if you guys have not listened to the new Hitten Twist of Fate, you guys might be worth the time. So yeah, definitely check it out. I have a second cough. Okay. So yeah, good stuff. I really like this one. Yeah, the lead track, Take It All, Probably has one of my favorite solos of the year. Alright, next up, this is a EP from a newer DSBM black metal band out of Canada. This is from Begotten, and the album is called And the Wind Cries Death. This is a 2-track EP. Both songs are pretty long, so it definitely is closer towards maybe the mini album kind of length or something like that. Out of 100, I have number 11. If you listen to their album that came out earlier in the year, it definitely is of similar sounding material. One thing I really like about this band is their ability to create like a DSBM sort of sound overall, but to do it like in sort of like I feel like the music is sort of there's a little bit of hopefulness in some of the ways the guitars work. I don't know if it's like that thing where like it's like major and minor chords or something like that. But anyway, I like this photo in the back. But anyway, yeah, I just really like. There's something about the way they just do it differently. I just really like the way it sounds. And yeah, I definitely I'll leave links as I always do to everything. And give it a listen for yourself. This is Begotten with And the Wind Cries Death. Alright, next up, this is another Canadian artist. A little bit different genre though, and they got lots of goodies that came with it. This is, and actually even has a little note from it, the sticky note that I have on it. This is Dana Jean Phoenix with Drrty Shooz. This is a, I originally knew her as a synthwave artist. This album is actually a little more towards the dance pop kind of sound for me, which actually I really like. In particular, the song Bullets and Big Time. Those in particular, those are perfect dance pop beats. Just really love those songs a lot. Anyway, I really like to have this sticky note on it that has her own stamp at the bottom, so I thought that was cute. And then I got a bunch of other goodies like stickers and buttons. This is actually her new album from this year, Pixel Dust. Still waiting for a physical copy of this to come out. I really like it. That one's definitely more on the synth pop, the synth wave side of things. And actually, it's on our fridge right now as we collect magnets. But they actually got a magnet too, which I'd never actually seen before. I thought that was super, super rad. So yeah, definitely if you're into synthwave, especially if you like stuff with vocals, she might be up your alley. One of the things that I like about her is that she is sort of like a pop artist in terms that a lot of times, like, you know, all the tracks are produced by a synthwave artist or a whatever you want to call it, and I really enjoy looking at those and seeing whose beats I like and whose I don't, that kind of thing. But I also just really like her voice, so that's why I like it. Anyway, Dana Jean Phoenix, Drrty Shooz. If you like synthwave pop kind of stuff, might be into that. All right, next up, ordered this a long time ago, a month and a half maybe now actually. Eli, Cold Hymns of the Dark North, showed this off, and actually it was an artist I was into, and I just hadn't gotten around to listening to it, and so I listened to it and it was awesome, so I got around to ordering it finally. And that is the split between Surgikill and Cardiac Arrest. Both these guys, if you're not familiar, are death metal acts. I wasn't really actually familiar with Cardiac Arrest really, and actually this is the first thing I've ever purchased by them. I was more familiar with Surgikill, as they're related to Razorback Records and the Noceras, and I really enjoy pretty much everything that they're involved with. Surgikill being a kind of a smorgasbord of vocalist kind of bands. Pretty much, everyone from both Noceras to Steve-O doing vocals on there. Just really cool stuff. And actually, let's actually take a look at the art. Both of the art on these are both just really rad. Yeah, the two titles are Blade Violent by Cardiac Arrest, and then Embodiment of Sin and Obscenity by Surgikill. I think I actually like this art better too. Anyway, let's see, I'm sure, yeah, by, Putrid, obviously, did the art. There's some more stuff by him right here. So yeah, just a track a piece, but, you know, just awesome, straight for the gullet, death metal by both acts. Nothing going on here with the record itself, just, black labels. So yeah, cool stuff. Not much else to really say about it, but yeah, if you're into either of those bands or just like death metal, definitely is worth your time. I'll put that much here actually. Move this. Forgive me, I'm not really prepared like at all. They also, the label that I ordered this through, which is what, Nero 1 record, I think is what it is. I'm not sure. I think it's Nero 1, because, yeah, Nero 1. They threw in this, CD, which actually I suck. I haven't even listened to this yet. I've had it for like a while now. This is, Omen Filth, with, Hymns of Diabolical Treachery. I don't know anything about this, I think I wrote it up, but I think it actually is black metal, if I remember correctly. Not totally sure, but that was cool of them to throw that in. I will listen to that eventually. Alright, moving along. This is, actually, I can't believe I haven't shown this yet. This is how long it's been since I've done one of these. This is the new release from Miserable, entitled Loverboy / Dog Days. This is the new release from Genius Christina Esfandiari, if I'm saying that right. She's also in the band King Woman, which I'm not really as into, but I really like this band. That's sort of a post-rocky, shoegaze kind of a sounding thing. I really like it. I do think I liked the previous album, which I believe is self-titled Miserable. But this one's really good too. I've listened to this a ton. Just really cool stuff. If you're into that kind of shoegazy kind of sound, these guys might be worth a look. And yeah, just really great cool guitar work, and I also enjoy her vocals. Alright, next up, this is a compilation release by the grindcore act Anal Trump, which I've shown a few of their releases in the past. This is their album called The First 100 Songs, which, as the title denotes, is the first 100 tracks released by the band. I have a few of these releases, but didn't have all of it, so it was cool to finally pick up the entire thing, especially in CD form. There's probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 different 7-inch EPs I didn't have, so now it's cool to kind of just cross those off the list. This will do me. Just a lyric book, nothing too fancy going on. This is if you're not familiar, this is a grindcore act with Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation and what's his name, Rob Crow of bands like Pinback and stuff. I'm not as familiar with him, but anyway, yeah, just really like absurdly short. All the songs are, you know, mostly like 2 to 3 seconds, so just kind of like, blah, you know, kind of over and done with. For the most part, their releases previously where like all the proceeds go to charities and this and that. I didn't see that with these in particular, so not that it necessarily really matters, I guess, but maybe that's true, maybe it's not. Anyway, first 100 songs, Anal Trump. I'll leave a link if you want to check that out. The label also threw in this, which also I have not listened to. Here's something extra because we love you from Joyful Noise. That's the label. They released the Anal Trump. This is what is this? Seboda with Defend Yourself. Don't know anything about this. Eventually I'll listen to this. Alright, we're about halfway through maybe. Alright, next up, this is a cool release. This is, I think this is a debut album, I think, for this band. This is Born of the Cauldron by Cauldron Born. This is, has the same guitarist as, a band I showed back last time I did an update. Guitarist Halle Bentley. His band. See if I can find the tape. Anyway, this is just some cool kind of traditional doomy sounding kind of stuff. Awesome riffing, fantastic soloing. This version actually is released, I think it's self-released, Echoes of Crom. I think it's his label. I was actually holding out to get a Stormspell version of the CD, but I've never actually seen it for a reasonable price, so I've not ever had the chance to pick it up. So maybe I'll still be on the lookout for that, maybe not, but saw that this was one of those things where he was selling it so he could, oh, excuse me again, because he's looking to put out the new one, and so was happy to get some money sent his way and some CD sent my way towards a new release. Yeah, this is Born of the Cauldron by Cauldron Born. Awesome stuff. Like I said, I'll leave links to all this stuff. Alright, next up. This one is actually an album that I should have bought probably not 10 years ago, because I don't think it's that old. Yeah, 2011, so probably... Anyway, this is Mammoth by Beardfish. This is a Swedish progressive rock, progressive metal band. Came across these guys when this album came out, and just I super loved this album. It was probably one of my favorite albums of 2011. I have to go back and look, but I really, really like this album. Just awesome progressive rock parts, the Moog sounding keyboards and stuff, cool vocals. If you're into progressive rock, metal stuff at all, this is definitely something that is worth your time listening to. Yeah, just happy to finally snag a copy of it. Listened to it a couple times since getting the actual physical CD, and it doesn't disappoint. Awesome progressive rock. And at the same time, since the seller and Discogs had this and it was really, really cheap, and I needed another release by this band, a piece of tape on here. Yeah, I'll worry about it later. This is the debut album, we'll say, by Naked City, John Zorn led group. This actually, I think, was originally released as a under just the moniker John Zorn, but it sort of has become the Naked City. Like the first album by the band. If you're not familiar with Naked City, they are kind of hard to even really describe what they are. I would say maybe a jazzy grindcore band is, I guess, the best way to really think about it. I only have one other release by Naked City, and it's sort of a soundtrack to a movie, so it's sort of its own little thing. But yeah, jazzy grindcore is about as best you're going to get. Obviously, with John Zorn on board, the famed saxophonist, and if you're familiar with him at all, you know he's always into doing weird stuff. So, yeah, I don't know, I'll leave a link. Listen to that. If jazzy grindcore kind of piques your interest, I guess check this out. All right. Next up, let's see this now. Okay, this is the, actually, and this album is awesome. This is, this actually came out yesterday. This is the new release from the synthwave AOR band Magic Dance, their new album, New Eyes. First off, before I get into this music, I want to complain about something real quick. This is what I get for ordering on Amazon, but I ordered 2 copies because I was almost certain that this album would be my top 5, and it is. But somehow both copies of the CD arrived completely just destroyed. This copy, so much so that actually even the disc itself was broken, and it's just falling apart right here. I do have elbow replacements copies on the way, but you know, it was sort of just an annoyance to me. Alright, now that I have that off my chest, let's get to the music. Awesome release. If you're familiar with the band and their last one, Vanishings, which is I loved that album, and I've just been trying to spread the word of that band. If you like that album, you're gonna love this album too. It just continues on where Vanishing left off. Awesome, great melodic vocals, energetic guitars, good synth work, solos here and there. It just has like a time capsule sound of the 80s. Just awesome release. Definitely, like I said, it's a top 5 of the year. Not disappointed at all. The only thing I would say is if I had to choose, at this point I would choose Vanishings over it, but that bar is just so high that it's really not even really fair to make that comparison. yeah, just an awesome release. In particular, the tracks When Nothing's Real and For a Time, The End of My World. Those two tracks in particular are just fantastic. When Nothing's Real is probably the only song that comes close to Still Haunting Me, which is probably my favorite song. That probably is my favorite song from Vanishings. Yeah, awesome stuff. If you've ever checked this band out before, definitely don't hesitate to check this band out again, because this is a fantastic follow-up to Vanishings. Not disappointed. Love it. Love it. Love it. I think right now, after listening to this album like a bajillion times already, I'm either slotting it, I think, 4th or 5th. Just a fantastic release. Not disappointed at all. And my expectations going into it were pretty high. So the fact that I'm not disappointed at all, I think really, at least for me, says just how strong this record really is. So yeah, please go listen to this. It's awesome. Magic Dance, New Eyes. Right, we got only just a few more. Next up, this is a release from a synthwave electro artist out of France. I'm not sure how you pronounce this for sure, but I'm going to go with Mlada Fronta. It's MLADA, so that's why I'm saying Mlada Fronta. And then the album is called No Trespassing, as you might assume, and I am too. We're probably referencing Jason Voorhees here, as we do have the hockey mask, and we do have the split in the right spot, and also I'm assuming they're going off of the part 7 scene where the mask splits off the front of his face. Well, that's why it's sewed up in the front here. Anyway, cool stuff. Definitely a cool dark synth, electro sounding stuff. If you're into any of like the the Perturbators or anything like that, you're gonna like this probably. Not a lot going on here with the liner notes. Just nothing on the inside, and it's got this on the back. But yeah, cool stuff. Found this on Bandcamp. I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago. It came pretty quickly, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, not much I'm really gonna say about this, other than if you like a lot of the other dark synth stuff that I show, definitely check this out, because you'll probably like it. While we're on that note, this is another synthwave artist here. This guy is out of Poland. This is Jeremiah Kane with his second release, All or Nothing. I showed an album of his earlier in the year, and I was excited to see that he was already, well, not already, because I was late to the other album, but I discovered it earlier in the year, so I was excited to see that he had another album coming out this year, and I really like this one. I really feel like he did a really good job. I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but he definitely moved more so in sort of the darker synth end of things, which I really liked. Just really cool stuff. The whole album is just full of awesome tracks. All or Nothing, 2500 Racing, Rising Dragon Fist, Vampire Vania, which actually both those last two have cool samples from video games, which I love. Shibuya Nights, another great track. It says features guitars by Vincent Kane, which I will assume is a relative of his, maybe a brother or something like that. Enjoyed the guitar work that was on this. Thought that was an awesome addition. Really enjoy everyone in the synthwave world who is adding guitars to their music. I really think that it is a cool dynamic that really just, I think, helps just increase the awesomeness of pretty much all of the synthwave that I hear it being used on. So yeah, definitely if you're into, like I said, any of the dark synths kind of stuff that I've shown, definitely check out this release. I really like it. All or Nothing by Jeremiah Kane. Alright, one more to go. And actually, I've done a pretty good job of blowing through this pretty quickly. This actually was also released just yesterday. This is the new one from Corpsefucking Art. Their album Splatterphobia. This is a, as you might assume, death metal band out of Italy. They have a lot of like sort of humor, tongue-in-cheekness with their sound, which I really like. You can see their mascot on the front here, Mr. Daisy. He's wearing a Mortician shirt, which was fun. Can you guys see in the reflection above? I don't know how I did it just a second ago. Anyway, I'll move on. Awesome stuff. I would say these guys are sort of in the brutal death metal camp, but actually I would say this album is actually a really cool throwback to a really more traditional sounding death metal sound, including a cover by a Cannibal Corpse cover of Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, which is, they did a very good job of that. Yeah, really solid death metal band. So if you are into, if you're into Cannibal Corpse, like that kind of sound, you definitely check this band out. You will not be disappointed. I just actually really like this album a lot. It wasn't, I was sort of not expecting a whole lot, not necessarily because I don't think they put out good albums, but just, I just buy their albums, and I wasn't, expecting to be blown away or anything, and was very pleasantly surprised with some very solid, nice death metal album. I don't think there's really much going on here, just bloody looking stuff with the lyrics. Got some Hell Ripper going on right now. So yeah, death metal, Corpsefucking Art, Splatterphobia, check it out. Play some comatose music. Alright, thanks for bearing with me. That's all we got for, that's all we got for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you're familiar with any of the releases that I've shown here today, please let me know what you think of them. And otherwise, have a great day. Whoop, missed the button.